Now, ever since Fable 5 dropped, you can basically clone and recreate almost any YouTube channel out there. Just this past week, I've used Claude to rebuild content across more than 14 completely different niches. Documentaries, faceless fitness, finance, 2D animation, and so on. And recently, I've noticed a whole surge of stick figure animation channels absolutely taking off, racking up millions of views on content that's almost 100% AI made. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the full process from start to finish using stick figure animation as the example. But just so you know, this same method carries over to literally any niche you're into. I'll show you how to set up the channel, brand it, write scripts that actually go viral, create your visuals, bring them to life with real motion, and even design high-quality thumbnails from scratch. Every bit of it with 100% free AI tools. Oh, and before we dive in, take a look at this animation my team and I put together in just 10 minutes using this exact system. They just made the choice smaller than you did. Here's the thing, you're trying to summon this huge burst of effort. Fight the whole day at once. No wonder it feels impossible. You promised yourself Monday would be different. It's Wednesday. Same you. But discipline isn't one big heroic act. It's one small decision, repeated. That's it. You don't need to run 5 miles. You need to put your shoes on. You don't need to write the essay. You need to open the document. Shrink it until it's stupidly easy. So easy, you can't say no. Then, do it again tomorrow. All right, so the very first thing you're gonna need is the master prompt we're gonna use to automate this entire workflow. You should find this either in the description, in the comment section, or in my completely free school community. Now here's what you're gonna do. Go through the master prompt and look for something called model/source PDF. Click on that and it'll take you to a Google Drive. Just download that file. It's about 53 pages long. Once it's saved to your computer, the next thing you need is a chatbot. For me, I'm going with Claude, but you can use GPT, DeepSeek, or whatever model you're comfortable with. Once you've got your chatbot, all you've got to do is upload the PDF you just downloaded. Then head back to the master prompt, press Ctrl+A to highlight everything, then Ctrl+C to copy it all. Head back to the chatbot of your choice and paste that prompt in. Now pick the model you want to work with. I'm working with Fable 5, but if you're on the free plan, the Sonnet model works just fine. Once you've got the model PDF and the prompt in there, just send it. Now, once you send this, what the chatbot does is read through the source PDF, absorb the specific niche you're getting into, understand the writing style and the writing pattern, and then it kicks off the whole creation phase by telling you it's absorbed the PDF and it's ready to start the video production process. All you've got to do now is type go. Once you type go, the chatbot asks you what kind of character setup you'd like. Do you want a male character or a female character? What kind of outfit do you want to go with? Now, I already have the default option here, so I'm just going to type default. But if you don't have a default in mind, you can ask it to customize the character. Maybe a female with a ponytail, wearing a skirt, or whatever you really want. For me, I like this, so I'm gonna type default and send it. Once you do that, it creates a character prompt you can use with an image creation model to build the character you want. I'm just gonna copy this character prompt and head over to a free image creation platform called Google Flow. Sign in with my Google account, create a new project, and select the model I want to use. I'm using Nano Banana 2. For the number of image outputs, I want 4 images. And for the aspect ratio, the landscape 16:9 works just fine. So I'll paste in my prompt and send it to Google Flow. It processes the prompt and generates a Stickman style animation of the main character. If you like this, you can just download it. But if you don't, you can always ask it to change the outfit or the character style. For me, I like this, so I'm gonna download it. Once I've downloaded it, I'll head back to my chatbot and type next. Then I'll type locked. Then next. Now, once you type next, your chatbot starts giving you 10 video ideas to pick from in this specific niche. And as you can see, the titles we're given are really similar to something you'd see on a Stickman motivational channel. It looks pretty good. For this one, I think I'm gonna go with idea number 4. I like idea number 4, so I'll send it. My chatbot then asks me how long I want the script to be. Since this is just a brief tutorial, I'm gonna pick 1 minute. But if you're making longer videos, it's always best to aim for 8 to 15 minutes because that's the sweet spot for ad revenue. It lets you add multiple ad breaks across your video. So that's something to keep in mind. But since this is just a quick tutorial, I'm making a 1 minute video. So I'll type in 1 minute and send it. Now, this duration affects how long the script should be. Typically, a 1-minute video is about a 200-word script. And right now, we've got the output. The script came out to about 168 words. We've got the hook, we've got the pattern the script follows, and it looks really good. Everything's laid out for you. Now that we've got our script, we need a way to turn it into a high-quality voiceover. Because remember, we can't generate low-quality voiceovers. That's not going to be monetizable by YouTube. We need a platform that's going to do this properly. And we've got a couple of options here. For the completely free users, what I usually recommend is a platform called Noise AI, because it gives you around 2,000 credits to generate voiceovers every single day. So in a month, you're getting about 6,000 free credits. The only problem I have with this platform is the voiceovers aren't really the best compared to other platforms. But if you want a completely free, or let's say freemium option, Noise is your go-to. It gives you way more credits than most platforms would. And the best, in my opinion, is going to be 11 Labs. 11 Labs gives you about 10,000 free credits every single month, and they have really high-quality sounding voices. So just head over to your browser, search for 11 Labs, sign up with your Google account, and you unlock 10,000 free credits. Once you've signed up, click on the voice option, which gives you access to the voice library. Pick whatever voice you want, then click on the text-to-speech option. For this tutorial, I'm going to use the voice of Mark, the conversational variant. And I'm going to make sure I'm using the V3 model. Now, why the V3 model is pretty cool. It lets you add this human touch, these human emotions to your voiceover. For example, if I put a laugh emotion inside square brackets and close the bracket, the text turns purple. The reason that happens is the V3 model can add or prompt emotions on demand. So you can control how the voice sounds. You've got a lot more flexibility than you would on other platforms. So make sure to use that purple text on the V3 model. So I'm going to select Mark, then head back to my chatbot, copy the first chunk of my script, paste it into 11 Labs, and click Generate. Now, the reason I'm copying a really small chunk is because on 11 Labs, if you hit Generate with a huge wall of text, let's say 300 words and up, the voiceover sounds really glitchy. What I call the sweet spot is around 40 to 50 words. That way the voiceover sounds high quality and isn't too glitchy. So paste your text in chunks, generate the voiceover, and download it. Then head back to your chatbot to copy the next chunk. Paste it into 11 Labs and just rinse and repeat. Once you're done with the voiceover, the next thing you do is head back to your chatbot and type Next. Now, once you type Next, the chatbot asks if you have a visual flow for the animation in mind. A visual flow is just a sequence of events you want your video to carry out. Say I want a visual flow of a character waking up in the morning. I'd explain it like, I want the character to open his eyes, then the camera cuts to him putting his footwear on. Then it cuts to him going to the bathroom to brush his teeth. Then to the kitchen to make breakfast. Then heading off to work. That's a visual flow. I've directly asked the model to follow a specific flow for my specific project. Now, this is better. It's always good to make your own visual flow instead of asking it to design one for you. Because if you look right here in the prompt, you can just say, help me design one, and it'll build one from scratch. But I always advocate for creativity. So it's best to take a couple minutes to jot down a creative visual flow you want your video to carry. All right, now I've created my visual flow. It only took me about 4 minutes, and I mapped out how I want my scenes to play out. So I'm going to paste that visual flow here, write visual flow attached, and send it to my model. Now, to make a visual flow, it's always best to use a speech-to-text platform. Just voice out what you're trying to make using a recording, because when you're recording, you're a lot more flexible and you don't need to type. So plot out how you want the flow to be, take the audio you just recorded, run it through an audio-to-text transcription tool to get the text, and then hand it to Claude just like I did with mine. Now what it starts doing is taking your visual flow into account and reconstructing it into a really good video animation prompt for you to animate your image. Now remember, we've already created our character image. So the character we made earlier is going to be locked in throughout this entire video because we don't need too many images. We just need one really good reference image, and the rest is simple. Because most models are advanced enough now to create consistent output from just a single image reference. Now, the model might ask you a question if it's a bit confused. Just clarify what it's trying to understand and reply accordingly. Once your chatbot is done absorbing your visual flow, it gives you a really detailed image-to-video animation prompt. And because most video generation models have a time limit, It also specifies how long each clip should ideally be. So you can always ask it to adjust the length of each clip. Mine's completely fine because we're going to be working with match cuts and multiple shots. It's giving us the negative prompts, the positive prompts, practically every single thing we need. Now, once you've got every chapter prompt you need a platform that's going to let you turn these prompts into high-quality Stickman images. And for this, we've got a couple of options. The first one is Google Gemini. Now, not a lot of people know this, but Gemini actually lets you animate and create videos on the platform. Once you sign up, all you've got to do is click the plus icon and click Create Video. This completely changes the interface and gives you access to a video creation model. Another good option I like to recommend is Google Flow, which gives you access to the VO 3 model. Really advanced, as we've seen. Just sign up on Google Flow, click on the Nano Banana option at the bottom, and switch it from the image toggle to the video toggle. Once you do that, select the number of outputs you want. I'm going to select just one. Select the aspect ratio. I'm going with 16:9 landscape. And you can also select the duration. Now, one cool thing on Google Flow is it gives you access to models like OmniFlash, VO 3.1 Flash, VO 3.1 Lite, and so much more. I'm going to use OmniFlash since it's the most recent model and it costs very little credit. Just 12 credits, which is pretty cool. Another good option on our list is Google Vids. So head over to Google Vids, sign in with your Google account, and it gives you a landing page like this. Over here, you can choose whatever aspect ratio you want. I'm going to select landscape. Then pick whatever model you want to work with. I'm going with the VO 3.1 model, and it gives me an interface that looks like this. Over here, I can see a prompt box where I'll put in the prompts I want to work with. There are a couple other options, but these are the best free models when it comes to video creation. Now, just to test what my output's going to look like, I'm also going to head over to Higgsfield real quick and sign up there too. So I'm going to run the exact same prompt across all 4 models to see which one gives me the best quality output. Right now I'm on Higgsfield. What I'm going to do now is upload the character I created, the reference Stickman character from the start of the video, into Higgsfield. And you want to upload that character into every single platform you're using. I'm going to do the same thing on every platform, including Flow. Just click the Upload Media option, and Gemini as well. Once you've done that, head over to Claude and scroll up to the Character 1 prompt. Remember, you're only copying the prompt in the character chunk. So copy the Character 1 prompt from the Character Locked section and paste it across every single video creation model you're using. I'm going to paste it on Gemini and send it. Paste it on Google Flow. Make sure I select the image as the reference on Flow. Make sure it's toggled at the top of your prompt box. Then send it. Do the exact same thing on Google Vids. And I'll lastly do the same thing on Higgsfield, selecting my reference and pasting in my prompt. On Higgsfield, to keep things fun, I'm going to use Cdance 2.0. For the quality, I'm going to drop it to just 720p, so I'm not charged too many credits. For the duration, I'm going to max it out to 15 seconds, since Cdance lets you generate clips up to 15 seconds, which is pretty cool. I'm going to click Generate Now and wait for the output so I can compare my results across all the models. Now, after a couple minutes, we've got our output across the different models. And right now, I'm going to compare every single one to see how they look. First off, Gemini. Let's see what the output looks like. Alright, so Gemini seems to have a couple of distortions. We can see human hands in it, along with weird sound effects that don't really match the prompt we gave it. Although it did do a good job. I mean, a free model generating a video that's about 10 seconds long is quite impressive. But overall, I don't think Gemini's output is the best. Let me compare what Flow generated. Alright, this is Flow right now. And yeah, Flow has the exact same distortions Gemini had, and it also weirdly added background music, which I did not prompt for. So Flow sucks even worse than Gemini here. Let's check out Google Vids. Now Google Vids was able to generate an output that looks really consistent. As you can see, the character has a consistent Stickman feature across every single one of his scenes. The transitions look pretty good, everything looks solid with Google Vids. The only problem right now is it can only generate footage that's about 8 seconds long. But overall, Google Vids is the best so far. Let's check out what Higgsfield created using Cdance 2.0. Alright, so the result on Cdance looks a lot better. It's much more consistent and overall it looks pretty good. So I'm going to download this, then head back to Claude to copy the Character 2 prompt and repeat the exact same process. I'll copy from the Character Locked section all the way to the Handoff section. Then I'll paste it across every single model I'm working with. Same thing with Gemini. Make sure to upload the character reference we created, then paste in the prompts. Same for Flow, same for Google Vids, same for Higgsfield. Now I'm just going to wait for every model to create its own variant of the Scene 2 working version. All right, so now we've got our animations across all the models we're testing, and this is what they look like. All right, it seems like Gemini's trying to cram too much action into a single video, which is making it look too wonky. But it did give a better output this time around overall. Let me check what Flow did. All right, so Flow did an okay job. Not the best, but I see what it's trying to do. Let's check out what Vids did. All right, so Vids was trying to create a video with dialogue and a background sound, and it just looks too messy. So Vids did not do a good job here because it's adding audio we do not want. Now let me check out what Higgsfield created. All right, so it seems like Higgsfield's trying to do a good job, but there's a couple distortions here and there. It looks pretty average. I do like the output though. It looks the best out of every other model we tried. So now I'm going to try over and over again until I've generated every single video I need for this specific project. All right, now once you've generated every video you need for your project, the next thing you need is a background track to pair with your video. Now, to keep things monetizable, where you can find a good track that you won't get copyright strikes on is YouTube Studio. So go to your YouTube account, head over to YouTube Studio, and click on the Audio Library option. This gives you access to a vast number of tracks to use. You can filter by genre, mood, artist, track title, duration, whatever you want. And what you need to find is something like jazz or blues. Something upbeat but not too distracting, so the viewer can focus. Find a track you like, preview it, and click download so it saves to your computer. This track can be used without any fear of copyright down the line. Once you've got your background audio, your voiceover, and your footage, you now need to edit everything together in a single interface. For this, we're going to use a really beginner-friendly application called CapCut. It's very easy to use. Don't worry if you've never used it before. I can still walk you through it. All you've got to do is download and install the app, then create a new project. Then click the Import button and import the folder that contains all the materials you're working with. The thing about me is, when I'm working on a specific project, I like to import all my files into a single folder, then import that single folder into CapCut. That way it's a lot easier to edit everything and it keeps everything really organized. Once I've done that, I'm going to import the background track I got from YouTube Studio. I'll drag it onto my timeline and reduce its volume to about -15 or -20 decibels. So it's low and subtle, since we already have a voiceover here. Then I'm going to drag the voiceover in the exact order I generated it. Remember, we generated in batches, so nothing sounds too glitchy. I'll add the voiceover to the timeline, then crop the background track to make sure it's the exact same length as the voiceover. Then add a fade in and a fade out effect to the background track, select the voiceover, and bump its volume up to around 6.9 decibels so it's nice and loud. Then I'll use the magnifying tool to stretch the timeline so I can see everything properly. Once I do that, the next thing I need to do is start dragging my clips onto the timeline. Now, based on how we generated our multi-shot scenes, this should be fairly easy. We only have 4 clips, but if you preview them, you'll see each one has multiple shots. So instead of manually generating every single shot one by one, we're able to generate multiple shots in a single clip, which reduces the cost of generation significantly and makes it way easier to make high-quality videos. All you've got to do now is listen to the voiceover and crop your clips to make sure they match the storyline being told. Since we generated a lot of scenes, just listen closely to how it sounds and crop a couple things so everything matches the storyline properly. Once it all matches, make sure you've previewed it. If you want to add captions, you can do that by clicking the text option and then auto caption. But for this, I'm not going to do that, because sometimes captions make the content look kind of tacky. What I'm going to do instead is add an effect. So I'll click the effect button on CapCut, then click my favorite effects. I've already saved a couple. I'm going to add the old TV2 effect and stretch it across my timeline because I want that black and white feel, making it look like a monochrome short video. It looks pretty good. Once you've done this, you can play around with different effects, settings, and transitions, but I like to keep things really minimalistic. So I'm going to preview how everything looks, and if it looks good, I'll click the export button. Now export the video in the exact quality you generated the clips in. If you remember, we generated our clips in 720p, so I'm going to export in 720p, then use a video upscaler to increase the quality later on so it looks much crispier. Now that we're done with the video creation process, we need to move on to the thumbnail and our channel, so we've got everything set up. All you've got to do is head back to the chatbot you were using for the workflow and type next. Once you type next, your chatbot proceeds by giving you high-quality thumbnail prompts to create multiple variant thumbnails for you to pick from. Now, as you can see with the prompts we're given, we're also asked to attach the reference Stickman character image we created. So I'm going to head over to my browser and search for Google Flow. Create a new project, select the video option, then switch over to the image model. Select the For Output option, make sure I'm using Nano Banana 2, and upload the reference character of my main character into the timeline. Then I select that character by adding it to my prompt, head back to Claude, and copy the first thumbnail variant. Paste it on Flow, and send it. Then head back to Claude, copy the second thumbnail variant, paste it, and send it. Just keep doing this for all the variants I got so I can get a couple of options to choose from. All right off the bat, we're given really high quality thumbnails. Over here, we've got our character with really good text that looks simple, minimalistic, and still looks like something we'd see on the reference channel. This specific niche has thumbnails that look like this, and the fact that Claude can give us prompts to create something like this is really impressive. So far, we've gotten some really nice thumbnails, although some of them didn't generate. Sometimes Flow does that, but this looks pretty good, so I'm gonna download one. And now I'm completely done with the video creation process for this specific niche. Let's head over to creating a channel and actually branding it. All right, now the first thing you're gonna need is a channel name. So head over to your YouTube channel profile, click your channel icon, and click Create Channel. All you've gotta do is pick a name. I think I'm gonna go with Stickman Tips. So I'll pick the name, Stickman Tips, and click Create Channel. Once I do this, I've got my channel. I'll click Customize Channel, which takes me to YouTube Studio. Now we've got to handle the channel banner, the channel logo, and a catchy description. I'm gonna write something off the top of my head. I'll write, I drop weekly productivity videos. Then I'll make a small paragraph and write, subscribe for weekly videos. And I'll add an emoji real quick. Now, this is really simple. I see some beginners trying to write a whole essay in their channel description. It's not that complicated. Just write something that briefly describes your channel, and maybe you can build on it. But the quicker and easier it is to read, the better it is for the viewer. I'm gonna click Publish right now. Now for the logo and banner. You could actually use your character as the logo. For me, if I click Upload, I can just upload my character as the logo. And for the banner, you can head over to Canva to cook up something that looks pretty good. A free Canva account works just fine. Just sign up on Canva, click Create, and search for YouTube Banner. Click the layout there to take you to a blank canvas. Over here, you can design something to work with. Now, it's always safer to keep your design within the middle frame of this canvas. That's the part of your banner that'll be shown to everyone across different devices. People on mobile, desktop, and TV all see different things. But whatever you put in this specified region is visible to everyone across every device. So what I'm gonna do is add a subscribe text. I'll write a subscribe text and make it bold. I'll add a specific color and change the font to make it look more satisfying. I think the black looks pretty good since our branding already revolves around black and white. Once I put the subscribe text in, I'm gonna export my banner. Something really basic. You can build on this, but I love minimalism, so I'm gonna go with this. Once I download it, I'll head over to YouTube, upload it into my canvas, click Upload, then click Publish. All right, now we've pretty much created a channel. Put in the channel name, banner, logo, and even the description. And if we head back to our channel and refresh the page real quick, we can now see we've created a really high quality channel that we can start uploading our videos to, because this looks pretty good. Not gonna lie, this looks pretty impressive. And that's pretty much it for today. If you've got any questions, just leave them in the comments below. And if there's any niche you want me to cover, I'll be happy to do that. Just drop a comment. That's it for today.